So I think we'll go ahead and get started. We've got about 20 or so folks here. We'll probably expect more people to come on, and we're recording this as well. So people who miss it tonight, I know that our middle school baseball team is having a parent meeting right now that I can't be in attendance for. So I know there's other stuff going on. I think the primary school is also doing a warm up to Walker tonight. So there's a lot going on. Just want to thank those of you that have joined us tonight for this athletics town hall. And for those of you that join later and see this later, thank you for joining as well. It's really a privilege for me to introduce Walker's third athletic director in our school's history. Wow. The first athletic director was Gary Blome, who came to Walker in the early 80s and served as AD at Walker for 30 plus years. Lee Block followed Gary, and now it's a real privilege for me to introduce Salina as our third athletic director at Walker. And perhaps some of you don't know that Salina first arrived on the Walker campus to be the athletic trainer for our very first varsity football team in 2001, 20 years ago. And she remembers that season with Coach Bob Murphy. Yes. And current parent Rip Warren, I know for sure that was on that team, and others I know. But, you know, over the last 20 years at Walker, Salina has been a skilled and dedicated certified athletic trainer. She's taken care of hundreds, really probably thousands of Walker student athletes. And for those of you that have been in the stands, she's also taken care of a lot of our opponents' student athletes as well. You know that she has a passion for health and safety of all student athletes. She's been an assistant athletic director for the last several years, as well as our middle school athletic director. She's coached both basketball and lacrosse, is currently coaching lacrosse this season. And in addition, you know, you learn things about people when you go through the search process, but she's also served as a clinical supervisor for the athletic training program at both Georgia State University and at Life University, you know, helping train up the next, you know, sort of generation of athletic trainers. She's a certified athletic administrator with the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. And I can verify this in person, she is a CPR and first aid instructor, because I had to do my CPR training just last week before I could go out to coach baseball. And I will say on behalf of the search committee, that the search committee was so impressed with really three key strengths that we know that Salina has and that she will bring to the table as Walker's next athletic director. Salina possesses top flight organizational skills, which is a critical component of the athletic director's job. She is also an effective and very proactive communicator. For those of you that have had any dealings with her, you know that to be the case. And I think, you know, importantly to all of us, she possesses a genuine love and passion for the Walker School and for Walker athletics. She is a Wolverine through and through. And I want to read you what Salina wrote. She doesn't know I was going to read this, but what Salina wrote in her cover letter when she applied for the position of athletic director. She wrote, "I absolutely love being part of the Walker School and fully support its mission, vision, and core values. The motivation, experience, education, and skills I possess will enable me to excel as Walker's next athletic director. I'm not only qualified, but I am fully committed to building on the legacy created by Lee Block and Gary Blome. Under my direction, Walker athletics can be elevated to an even higher level." So I want to thank you all for joining us tonight for this athletic town hall. I know you came to hear from Salina, and so I want to please welcome Salina Crayton, Walker's next director of athletics.
Jack, thank you so much for that warm welcome. Oh my goodness. I'd like to follow that and just welcome all of you and just echo Jack with that. Thank you guys for attending this town hall meeting, whether you're here now or whether you're watching the recording. Thank you for taking this time out of your schedules. You're here because athletics means something to you. I mean, you're an athlete, you're a parent, you're a supportive faculty member, coach, or administrator, you're tuned in right now because you value athletics and because you value what it brings to our Walker community. So you're here and you want to hear from me. You want to get a firm understanding of, where I'm going, where my vision is. You had questions, you gave feedback, and so now we're here to go ahead and get you some answers and get you an understanding for where I think Walker Athletics program is headed. The first question that some of you may have is, who exactly is Salina Crayton? What makes her the best candidate to lead our athletics program? And I believe that is a good question. I take it for granted, that everybody knows who I am because I've been around for so long, but that's not necessarily the case. So I'll start with the fact that I'm a South Jersey girl. That's where I'm from. Went to Catholic school growing up in Trenton, New Jersey. And I have a twin brother. And I grew up in a pretty athletic family. My dad played basketball. My mom played tennis. My brother played basketball. And we were out at the parks all the time and just out at the lake, just doing different things. So I grew up in an athletic family. But ironically, I didn't start playing sports till I was in 7th grade. Everything sport related went to my brother, and going to a Catholic school, we didn't have sport options for girls. So it wasn't until I was in public school, once we moved to the suburbs, and Coach Vaccaro, not that he would be watching this, but he was my PE teacher. And he said during a class, and I still remember it to this day, like it was yesterday, he said, Salina, I think you would be an awesome basketball player. You should try out. And it never occurred to me that I could play sports at 7th grade, which is crazy because, like I said, my dad was a coach. I was always the manager. I was the one supporting the team. And I tried out and I played basketball, and I played until I finished high school. I also tried lacrosse and ended up playing that at the college level for 2 years. So sports has been a part of my life. And it's kind of put me on this path to where I am today. And that tells you a little bit about me. I'm a mother and I'm a wife. You can see the pictures there. My husband's there. My daughter's there. So I know what it means, to be a parent of an athlete. I know what it means to constantly check the schedule to see what time will practices be, because you got to figure out how in the world am I going to get my kid to this practice and then home and wherever else they have to go. I understand that. I know what it means to work all week, and then you wake up on Saturday morning and now you got to go drive your kid 2 hours to a basketball game and sit there for all day to a tournament just to turn around, come home, and go back the next day. I understand where you're coming from. I'm also an athletic trainer, like Jack said. Excuse me. I'm an athletic trainer, as Jack said. And I guess how I got into that, just so you guys know, I played sports starting in 7th grade. Around 10th grade year, I had a friend of mine who was on my team. She got injured and outruns this lady. I don't know where she came from. I'd never seen her before. And she took care of my teammate. And after the game, I went to see who she was and what she did, because I knew at that point I wanted to be in medicine, but I didn't know, which way to go. And she told me about the field of athletic training, and I was hooked on that from 10th grade on. I became her student trainer, and she was a graduate assistant at Temple University. And just from watching her and learning her, she let me look through her textbooks as she was studying at the graduate level. And by 11th grade, I knew that I was going to go to college to be a certified athletic trainer, and I was going to get my master's degree in sports medicine, and I was going to work at the high school level. Those were the goals that I set for myself. And here I am 20 years later, transitioning into a new goal. I'm an athletic trainer, an athletic administrator as well. I guess about 6 years ago, just to kind of give you background as to how I transitioned, I had to go sprint on the field. You know how we do. One of our soccer players went down, and I go off running to go ahead and come to their aid, and then came back off the field, and I realized I injured myself. So I'm trying to help them, and I'm hurt too. And then the next day I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Let me figure out what's going to happen next. because we're at about year 15. And yeah, so let me see what I like. And I kind of dipped and dabbed. I looked into public health, did some internships over at Emory, or in volunteer work at Emory, and took a couple of courses in public health. And I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure about that. And then a position became available here for part-time assistant athletic director. And I said, well, let me see that. Let me see what that's about. Let me get my feet wet. And once again, I was hooked. You know, working with Lee Block, seeing how Gary Bloom did things. I was just like, I want to know everything about what this job means. I started taking courses, leadership courses through NIAA, as Jack mentioned, got my certification, had to go all the way to Alabama to take a test to become certified. They only offer them a few times a year. And I studied, took those leadership courses, and got the experience working under Lee Block, and just absolutely loved it. Loved the networking opportunities as well, and fell in love with it. And I said, you know what? I am going to become an athletic director full-time somewhere. So I am just thankful that it's here at the Walker School. So that's a little bit about me, but I tell you all of that to say, I feel like I'm a great candidate for this position because I can relate. My experiences over the years have kind of equipped me, you know, to relate to you guys and meet you guys where you need me to be. So the bottom line, I love Walker. I love what it offers my students, or our students. I say mine, but our students. And I think that it's going to be great, and I'll be able to relate and understand, and I think you guys will appreciate that. All right. So question and answer. You know, I've just talked a bit about who I am, and I hope that I get to know who all of you guys are. I'm a little slow when it comes to names, but I'm gonna get there, I promise. Charge it to my head and not my heart. But now to the nitty gritty. I wanted to format this town hall so that we're able to hit all the topics that you deem important. So what I've done is asked you guys to complete that survey, and I got tons of responses and kind of group those questions into categories, and I will be addressing them. And through this Q&A process, you guys will learn my overall vision for our program and how we're going to make this vision happen. So COVID-19 obviously is a big issue going on right now. And before I even get into these questions, I want to thank our school nurse, Dana Ferguson, and her crew of contact tracers, Tony Morrison, Chrissy Holman, sometimes Lee Block. I mean, thank you guys for your tireless efforts since the summer. I want to also thank our teachers, our staff members, our administrators, our coaches, who have persevered through this unprecedented time and done everything that they can do to simulate some degree of normalcy for our students. It could have just been easy just to shut it down and keep it closed, but everybody on our Walker campus has been burning the candle at both ends so that we can make an opportunity and provide options for our students and our families, and ask them that they choose the best path for them. So thank you guys before I get into the questions. So, you know, why are we having athletics? Oh my God, it's a pandemic. What in the world are you thinking? That is the question. And so let me start by saying that, you know, at the Walker School, 70% of our students are involved in athletics. Participation in athletics is a key and sometimes essential component to their overall social, physical, and emotional health. This spring, we had to shut it down, and it was traumatic, especially for our seniors. But what it did was it allowed us time to really learn about this virus, to understand kind of how we can navigate it in and open our schools up again, resume athletics while reducing the risk of transmission. So how are we doing this? Mitigation, mitigation, and mitigation. I think that's the buzzword now, but it's extremely important. Why? Because recent studies show that incidence of transmission is extremely low in the school setting when mitigation strategies are implemented consistently. And I'm proud to say to date, we're unaware of community spread occurrence during our school day. So wearing those masks washing your hands, that social distance, smaller class sizes, increased sanitation methods and procedures, doing those screenings, those temperature screenings, symptom screenings, staying home when you're sick, the contact tracing is key, and those stringent quarantine and isolation protocols. All of those strategies have resulted in zero community spread in our classrooms and our hallways at the Walker School. So for athletics, a little different, okay? We know that it's impossible to follow the exact same strategies that we have for the school day with athletics, okay? Some sports come with higher risk, and you can see on the picture on the slide, kind of outlines the level of risk for each. Excuse me. But we really need to, you know, come up with opportunities and continue offering the sports as much as we can. The best way we can do, or the best things that we can do for this, are to kind of reduce unnecessary physical contact, minimize the number of athletes that are allowed in locker rooms, keep up with the temperature screenings, and require that athletes who are not feeling well stay home. And then we're constantly, and most importantly, constantly evaluating and assessing the mitigation strategies we have in place for athletics. We have been offering sports since June, and we have had to date one cluster of community spread, okay? That team was quarantined, and then a thorough evaluation made to figure out what happened and what can we do moving forward to make sure, or try to reduce the risk of that happening again. Some of the changes that we made, we're adding ionization systems to our buses, which is huge because it purifies the air, kills those viruses, and it extremely limits the chance of transmission while on the buses. You know, we further limited use of the locker rooms, and also look for alternate meeting spaces for our teams. And so, you know, that's what we did, and that's what we're doing. And just, we want to try to do everything that we can to keep moving forward. That third question, you know, is Walker, you know, putting athletics over academics? We offer a rigorous academic opportunity, and we look at the education of our students as a whole picture. We like to nurture the whole student. And with 70% of our students participating in sports, you know, we have to understand that it's an integral part of their Walker experience, and it's necessary sometimes for their well-being. So for a lot of students, we have to do everything in our power to keep this opportunity open for them while reducing the risk of spread. So that is, it's not placing more emphasis on one thing versus the other. It's all one thing. It's all a part of one picture for a lot of our students. That last question, you know, everything that we have been able to do has been dependent on the efficacy of our school's mitigation strategies, okay? Since resuming full in-person learning, the results on campus fall in line with that of recent studies, including a study published by the American Academy of Pediatrics. We can keep our students safe when mitigation strategies are in place and follow consistently, and that's what we're building our foundation on. Boy, all right. So, plan for excellence. There were a couple of questions about that, and so here, I definitely want to address a few of these. You know, I guess we start by defining excellence. So, being competitive in a majority of programs and dominant in others, I think is a part of being excellent. You know, having depth with each team, having large numbers of athletes and skill players, for coaches to be intentional and great and organized, and consistency and performance, and the ability, obviously, to win titles. That's excellence. But excellence is also measured by an athlete's ability to obtain their goals that they set for themselves, the ability to persevere in the face of adversity, opportunities to learn social skills and character development, the ability to collaborate and communicate, and the ability to be a successful student, because that's why they're here. All of these things, to me, makes excellence and will make excellence in our athletics program. I think a key part of that, you know, as far as a short and long-term strategy, number one is we have to get more students playing multiple sports. It's essential for a school our size. We have to encourage the love of sport. identify engaging opportunities for our lower school students and our middle school students. We also need to support our coaches and maintain consistency in the coaching staff as we build legacy. And then we need to create opportunities for community involvement. I mean, athletics should involve our entire community. And yes, COVID has kind of shut that down a bit, totally, actually. So once we get out of this thing, y'all, please be ready. We're gonna need, I want a festive atmosphere for all of our athletic events. That is gonna help us be excellent. And then the other thing that we need is to set the expectation that Walker Athletics requires 100% commitment and accountability from everybody, from me as your athletic director, from our athletes, from our coaches, from our parents, everybody. And when we all give 100% and we work together, our department, our athletics will be excellent. For that second question, let me say, the growth and development of our athletic venues, I mean, over the past couple of years has been absolutely amazing. I mean, look at our field, look at Robertson Field, look at our gym in Cole's gym with the new floor. Look at our athletic complex over at 815. I mean, this cannot be glossed over. We have made significant advancements with our athletic facilities. That being said, we do have a strategic plan that notes that we have 18 acres of land that will eventually be available for future campus development. I see Jack smiling a little bit. So while we are capitalizing right now on the upgrades that we have already made, and then as we grow our numbers, our successes and our accomplishments, for me, it would be ideal, that at some point we have a field house and we have a stadium with a track. The timeline is TBD. I can't say when just yet, but know that that's a goal at some point. And so that answers that question. And
Salina,
then support.
Salina, can I interject?
Yes.
Real quickly, for those of you that are new, that have come to Walker in the last couple of years, the property that we purchased on Allgood Road, and that Salina affectionately refers to as 815, that where the girls softball field, middle school boys baseball field, and a practice field are, there's actually room for 2 more athletic practice fields to be built over there, and then the eventual home of our main competition field is on that spot where the current large practice field is, and there'd be a track around that, and hopefully seating that would go up sort of up the slope toward the baseball field, the varsity baseball field. And so that would become a main competition field as well. So that, that's future plans, but all the drawings have been done, and when the board decides that's the direction to go in terms of fundraising, we'll be moving in that direction.
So the plan is laid. So just a timeline TBD, but it's out there, and we have the availability. So that third question, support. What do I need? What are my wants and needs? First of all, it's just involvement. I need parent involvement. We have our Wolverine, our boosters, our Wolverine Club. We're getting ready to start a membership drive for next school year, 21-22. So be on the lookout for that. Membership, we are in the works of seeing if we can get a golf tournament together as a fundraiser, and then just your involvement. I'm going to send out a survey and work with our membership committee just to poll you guys and see what talents and gifts that you have that you can help contribute, so that we can put you to work, really, because it takes a community. For me, it takes a community to make just one athlete a success. So whenever, again, like I said, we can come together and we can do it underneath the umbrella of the Wolverine Club, it's going to be good for our program. It's going to be good for our athletes. The other thing that you can do for me is trust our coaches and administrators. And then lastly, encourage our athletes to play multiple sports. Sometimes they need that extra push because coach is going to ask them, Coach Creighton is going to ask you if you want to play lacrosse, definitely. But then when they go home and they ask you, or you say, hey, what about lacrosse? The more they get it from you, the better, because we absolutely need more kids playing more sports, or multiple sports, I should say. And then, if you're always complaining about your kids being on the screen, they're sitting there on their phone for hours. What better alternative than to make them go play sport? So let's do it. You know, if you have questions about that, that's what you can do for me. To be honest, that's what I need. So, all right. Multi-sport participation, just to dig a little bit deeper into that. So we're going to increase the numbers. We have to, like I just said, that's necessary to raise the level of success of our programs. Why are we doing this? You know, can you be successful? That's always the question. Oh my gosh, I can't play a sport, period, because my grades are going to fall, or I definitely can't do two. That is not the case. And I want to go ahead and point to these pictures I have here. I hope you guys can see them clearly, but I wanted to showcase some of our talented multi-sport athletes on this slide. We got Grace Katusis, who's a senior, and she plays lacrosse and basketball, and she was able to go ahead and will be playing at the next level, being a multi-sport athlete. It is possible. In the center there, I've got one of my young ones, Daly Jefferson, who played volleyball for the first time this season. And look at her. Doesn't look like it was the first time she's ever played. She plays basketball, and guess what she's playing next? Lacrosse. So multi-sport athletes. And then I've got Skylar Boyer, who is also one of our multi-sport athletes. She is a cheerleader, basketball player, and lacrosse player. What a combination. So it's doable. It happens, and it makes such a great experience. And then at the bottom here, for my young men, I got Tate Harrison, who definitely is a multi-sport athlete and has been his whole time here. There he's on the soccer field, but he's also a basketball player and a football player. Got Charlie Condon, who's our quarterback, who's a senior, and also a baseball player who is going to Georgia to play baseball. It is doable. You can do it. You can play multiple sports, excel in the classroom, get the scholarship that you want. And then I got Keon here. Keon is our football player and excellent basketball player. So that's what we do here. We just need more athletes to do it so that we can be successful. I cannot say it enough. What else? What do I have? How long, or how will you keep the football program going? Great question. First of all, we have a great coach. We got Gary Nelson in with us, and his staff will be excellent. I'm confident in that. Second, we need numbers. Again, that's why this is on this slide. We need our kids playing sports. We need depth. We need numbers. So we are going to be intentional in asking those questions to get kids out so that we have enough players to be successful. The third thing that we need to do, and Coach has talked about this in his presentation, but we want to build from the bottom up, okay? We need to develop our middle school program. We need to encourage athletics at the lower school level, or at least sport and movement at the lower school level. And then it needs support from all levels, which it has, from our administration and then from you, our community. That is how our football program is going to be successful, at least from my perspective. And then Coach Nelson's got a whole nother list to add to that, I'm sure. The next question we've got, why can't kids try out for one sport before the other one ends? And I obviously put this on this slide. We'll be working together. The whole point of multi-sport participation is to make it desirable and make it something that's easy to do. And then to do that, our coaches have to work together. So that's what we're doing and what we will be doing. But, you also have to take into account, usually when that next sport is starting, it's about playoffs. You're leading to the playoffs, and the coach needs your undivided attention, physically and mentally, to finish what you started. So even if you don't get to try out exactly when the other, your other team is doing it, you will get a full shot and a full chance. That's how we operate here. The next coach will give you an opportunity to try out. You can also, we have athletes who do preseason training while they're in sport. So we are going to collaborate. Coaches are going to work together to make this possible for you and make it easy for you and desirable for you to participate in more than one sport. And that last question, our goal needs to be increasing numbers. So we can't offer intramurals, at least not right now. We need all the energy going to the sports that we have. Now, the more numbers that we get, the greater the chances that we can not only have a varsity level, but we can have sub-varsity levels. If we get, you know, instead of 30%, if we get 50% of our kids playing more than one sport, we could have that 9th grade team. We can have that 6th grade team and be able to field separate teams and offer those opportunities. So, you know, we need to increase the numbers for the sports that we offer and go from there. And that would be the answer to that third question. Multi-sport participation can be done with success. You know, we're here, we've set the framework, and we will continue to build on that framework to make it, again, easy and desirable for all of you guys to participate in more than one sport here at the Walker School. All right, middle school athletics, my favorite. And so, you know, is there a planned development to integrate the upper school programs? We had the initiative that started last year when I became middle school AD to bridge the gap between our upper school and our middle school programs. And then COVID obviously hit, and it had to fizzle because we can't mix teams. And so, you know, once we're done and through this pandemic and everybody is safe and we can, you know, kumbaya and come together, this Bridging the Gap initiative is going to restart, and we are definitely going to increase the contact time and opportunities for our middle school students to engage with our upper school students. I mean, it's so important for them to see what they aspire to be and what can be done at the upper school level. So that will happen. Have we assessed the overall difference? Yes. I mean, it's done at the end of every season. And we just know that we need to increase numbers. We need to create more teams so that there are more opportunities for involvement, especially with sports that are highly competitive. So, you know, we have some teams like our soccer teams, our boys basketball teams at the middle school level that are competitive, but then we still don't have enough to create that second team. So the more athletes we get out playing multiple sports, the greater the chance that we can do a 6th grade team, then a 7th grade team, and an 8th grade team, and provide an opportunity for more kids to play the sport. That is the goal, and that's what I want to happen in the next year or two. Excuse me. Fitness at the middle school level, or strength and conditioning, I'm sorry. So our PE program is designed, they have a fitness component before every class where they're building on the foundational requirements to lift. And so this year, though, I was proud to say that we had an advanced fitness class for our 8th graders who were ready for it, where they actually got to get into the weight room. And so, yes, I think it's important for middle school, especially 8th graders and athletes, to get into the weight room. And we do have the opportunity, and we hope to expand it for those that are ready for it. In the meantime, we do incorporate that fitness component where they can develop their base level of strength and function. And then if they're advanced enough, they'll get that opportunity. We hope to expand it. I'll be in talks with Coach. He's always Coach Dawson to be, but Mr. Dawson, about that, getting more opportunities and making it available for our 8th graders and maybe even our 7th graders in the future to get into the weight room. You know, middle school is a time to try new things. You know, while we are more competitive in some sports than others, you know, it's an opportunity. We want you out there. We want you to try. And so that is definitely the key. I'm looking at these questions. Yep. So I think I hit all of them. All righty. Lower school.
Oh, sorry. One was, do PE teachers encourage students to play sports?
I missed that. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And so, again, I think we're looking at kids. I'm looking at kids as I'm walking by. The coaches are, the PE teachers are. You know, it's essential that we identify the kids who can play sports and some who can't, and just let them know about the opportunities. You know, middle school is a time to try new things. So, you know, outside of that, certainly for the lower school, we're looking to outreach and find opportunities for them to start getting involved in recreational level sports and leagues. And we want to invite as many kids as possible to start trying new things. That is where it's supposed to happen, and our PE teachers are all in for that and definitely do that. All right, lower school opportunities. There were a few questions about that. In our lower school, and middle school, they're the future of our athletics program. The primary objective of our lower school coordinator, which was a position that we created a couple years ago, is to identify opportunities for walker-friendly leagues and clinics that our kids can try, some on campus, some off campus, but we definitely want to go ahead and revive that effort and create a list, a directory of things that our lower school kids can get involved in, certainly from 3rd to 5th grade. Not necessarily so much for skill development. That's, they're young. That's really not the time to focus, throw them in, some major competition, but really just to get them off the screens, moving, and to generate a sense of love for just activity and sport. And so next year we'll definitely have that. I hope to get a directory out, get connected with coaches and programs in our area so that our kids can compete and get together outside of the classroom and start to love sport as well. What else do we have? How can we get the lower school students and families engaged? Same thing. But we have the Junior Wolverine Club. That is a great opportunity to get our lower school kids involved. We'll revive that, and there may be some opportunity this spring actually to get kids signed up to be a Junior Wolverine and get involved in some activities that are COVID safe. And we're going to continue that through the years. We just think it's important to start cultivating the love of sport, connecting kids outside the classroom, connecting parents outside of the classroom, and just getting them busy and moving and integrated into athletics. So my vision, my vision for Walker Athletics, what do I see? I see our stands packed with Wolverine fans of all types, parents, primary school kids, lower school athletes, teachers, folks from the broader community. I see them being rowdy, being loud, being positive, with cowbells, music blaring, and supporting our athletes. I see our halls, packed with gifted student athletes who are proud to be Wolverines, who know that they are valued and loved because they are celebrated constantly for their contributions to our school community, in the classroom, on the playing field, and beyond. I see a Wolverine Club that is inclusive and welcoming, that benefits from the talents and the strengths that our parents have, all with the goal of increasing support for our athletic teams. I see the Walker School as an independent school known for its academic rigor, prestigious college placements, and for offering an athletic experience for all of our programs that our athletes can be proud of, and that gifted student athletes will flock to because of the legacy that's created from 2021 on. That's my vision. How are we going to do that? We're going to create a culture of one team, one family. How are we going to do that? Increase multi-sport participation. We're going to identify and encourage community recreation opportunities for lower school students in grades 3 through 5. Systemize our athletics involvement in our admissions process and establish an immediate connection between the gifted student athletes that are touring our campuses and our athletics programs. We're going to prioritize coaching and athletic staff and support them with education and evaluation. We're going to advance the communication and online presence of our athletics department, revive our sense of school spirit, and use athletics to increase our sense of community. We're going to be the go-to for school for all gifted student athletes. This is a vision. This is how we're going to do it. And I believe it can be done. Like I said, when I put a goal in front of me, I'll make it happen. And that's where I am right now. And I can't do it alone. I need you guys to be involved, to be engaged, to communicate. So when you see me see me walking around campus, please just stop, holler at me, let me know who you are. Let's talk. And I look forward to being the Walker School's next athletic director. Thank you guys so much for being here, for taking the time to hear me talk. Oh my God, for so long. I don't think I've ever talked this long in my life. But thank you, and reach out to me if you need to. Thank you for being here. All righty.
Take a drink of that water.
Thank you.
So I do want to thank everybody for being here tonight. And if you have additional questions and want to follow up, as always, it's at Walker. Our emails are always our first name with a dot and then our last name at thewalkerschool.org. So you can reach out to selena.creighton at thewalkerschool.org, and she'll be happy to follow up with you. But thank you so much for being with us tonight. We're excited to welcome Salina as the next Director of Athletics at Walker.
Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, guys. Bye.